The project of the day is to convert this old beer keg into a urinal. It's a retired brew kettle. We cut the lid out of it and we were using it to brew beer, me and a good friend of mine. I have since moved and I'm not currently brewing, and if I start back I won't need a kettle this big. I also had a urinal in my old, or right outside my old man cave. I left that behind too, so this one's going to get the call as the replacement urinal. We've already cut the lid out. It makes a nicer installation, or at least get your plumbing in for flushing if the Sankey valve's in the top, but it's not. So we'll get to that in a later portion of the video. For right now, we'll start with the easiest part, which is cutting a hole in the bottom for the drain, and then we'll move on to mounting and whatnot. Now this is the bottom of the keg with the hole already cut. I bought this drain stopper. It goes for a tub, and here's the hole saw. It's just a standard bimetal hole saw. It's nothing special. It'll cut the bottom of the keg fine. The bottoms of these things are actually the thinnest part, the bottoms and the sides. It's this material around in this area that's thicker, because that's what I guess supports the weight of the barrel when they stack them. So pretty easy stuff. You just pop that out, and then look at there. That fits right in there, so you know you got the right, that's the right diameter hole. I've drilled that already. Now here's a tip. When you drill that hole, if you don't have somebody to do it with you, get a mister or a spray bottle or something, and keep your hole saw cool with water. It's the best thing. Oil is not the way to go. So what I did was I just got some help, and they sprayed water on it out of a garden hose, just lightly enough to keep everything nice and cool, and I'll get much longer life out of that hole saw that way. Okay, so this is a real simple process. You just take the ring off. This portion will go in from the inside. That'll tighten up, but we'll finish this up later because I've got to handle this thing a lot and I don't want to break this off. Now that we know where it's going to go, I'm just going to guess on the height. I've shoved a bucket and a couple of boards under it. Let's see how this works. I'm a pretty average height guy. Look at that. Lines me up right in the middle. If I get somebody in here taller, they should be good. Somebody shorter than me, which won't be a lot of people, they should still be able to get lined up to that. All right. Now let's figure out what we're going to do about getting it mounted to the wall. As far as mounting goes, I'm not going to do anything particularly special. I'm just going to drill a hole here in the lip, and I'm going to put another one over here on the other side. Also, I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom lip. So I'll have 4 screws going into the 2 sidewalls here, and that'll give me a nice sturdy setup. Okay, you can see now the screws and all are in. Screw here, screw here. Repeated that process on the other side. It is rock, I'm shaking it now, it is rock solid. That thing is not going to come down no matter who stumbles and trips into it out here. Now that it's attached to the wall and we can work on it, I'm going to play around with the plumbing just a little bit for the water supply. Now I don't know, I got to be honest with you, I don't know what the hell this thing is. It's some sort of little flange adapter. I actually found it in a pile of miscellaneous PVC fittings at a flea market. I bought it because it had a ball valve attached to it. Ball valves, you know, they're a few bucks a piece. This thing was, the whole setup was 50 cents. I knew I needed a ball valve. Turns out can't use the damn thing. But the flange, this little setup right here is perfect. It fits right in the handle. I can put this here, tighten it up, and plumb to the wall and get my water supply in here. It's perfect. Just got lucky with that one. Okay, we've got the flanges in place. I've got a 45 here. I should just be able to glue a short piece of PVC in between these two, and that'll set up everything I'll need for getting the water supply over here, which is on the other side of the deep sink. The next time you see this, it'll all be glued together. There's no reason to have a video on how to glue PVC fittings together. I'm sure there's plenty of them out there. Now that we have it mounted, we'll figure out where the hole's going to go. So when I use it, I'm just going to walk up to it like such. So I'm going to start with a pencil, move up to a Sharpie. When I'm happy with my outline, with pencil, I'll finish it up with the Sharpie. The hole is outlined. The flange for my water supply is lined up. Everything looks good. Time to take the thing down and cut it. I'll be using just an ordinary cutting wheel, Metabo. We'll get a look at it here in a second. I've moved the keg outside. I just threw a couple of pieces of wood under it to keep it stable so it doesn't roll while I'm trying to cut it. This is really a messy job. That's another reason we're outside. It's rained a little bit. You can see some water on the ground. Don't worry, I've got every kind of ground fault circuit interrupter known to God man on this extension cord. Also, eye protection and ear protection are a must when you're doing this. So without further ado, we'll get started on getting this thing cut. Just go real slow, trace your line, and then give you a nice a little channel to follow before you go ahead and plunge all the way through. There you have it. Now that took nearly 15 minutes. All right, there it is. It's not the most perfect hole in the world you'll ever see, but by the time I get it cleaned up, I'll run a standard grinding wheel on it and you know, knock off any sharp edges and square it up just a little bit. So anyway, there you are. Really, it's time to go ahead and put it back on the wall, clean it up. I might go ahead and give it a good polish before we mount it back to the wall. So we'll continue with this later. All right, now what I've done is just screwed a 1.5 inch. It's just standard water pipe, PVC, threaded on one side, slip fit on the other, and then put this is a 1-inch reducer. And it's a slip fitting, so I can just glue from right here 90 over to the wall, and then right, see if we can get this as I'm laying on the floor here. This is my sink. It's the drain of my sink. It's standard 1.5 inch PVC water pipe, and I have a T that I've just put in, and this is a 1-inch reducer as well, just a slip fit. So all I have to do is close the gap between here and the one under the urinal, and I'll be ready to go. There's the water coming in just like we had it before. All I did was pass, you know, through the handle. Jeez. And come through glue some fittings and hit a T, just a few miscellaneous holes drilled on the back side and under the bottom. That way I get a good shower, covers just about the entire thing. Well, that's going to wrap up the keg urinal build. There's really only one thing to do from here, and that's look for a good excuse to start using it. So without further ado, I think I'll get started on that right away. Sláinte.